Hello there everyone and welcome to Lydia's Crafty Corner. Today we'll be playing with one of the new stencils from the March release. This is the Watercolor Bouquet and I just love how this works. I love that you can move it around to create your own kind of bouquet, and I love that it's also layered so you can add extra dimension as well. So let's get on with it, shall we? So as I said, I will be using the new Watercolor Bouquet stencil. So this is the one that was released in March 2018. And it has a base layer as well as a detail layer as well. So it's all on one stencil, so you can really play around with it, and you're not going to lose either one of the stencils because it's on one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with where I want my first image to be. So I'm going to just pop that down and I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape just to put it in position, and also mask out one of the leaves that I don't want to blend in the first time. So I'm going to add my centre to the large flower first, and I'm using Mango Smoothie, and I'm using little finger daubers, even though they're small, so you need to ink them up a little bit more than you would a normal blending tool. I do find that they're really easy to get into small spaces like this, especially if you want to add different colours to different sections of your stencil. I think these really work well. So I've used Mango Smoothie for the centre, and then I'm going to be using lavender fields around the outside to create the colour of the flower. Once I've then finished colouring the whole flower in, I'm then going to go over the centre again with the Mango Smoothie just to blend these two colours together really well. You've seen before I added a little bit of more washi tape. That was just to mask off the stem of this flower so I didn't get any purple down it. I don't feel that you need to do this because the stencil gives such a lovely, beautiful, soft effect, and I think this adds to it, so I didn't end up masking off the stem the second time. I also forgot to colour the stem as well, so this may be helpful not to do this little step that I did. So as you can see, I've gone in with the Mango Smoothie again just to blend those two colours together, and now I'm adding some olive, and I'm just trying to add in tiny little bits where I think the stems would be showing on these flowers. So you don't need to cover the whole bit, just add a little bit of accents. They don't have to be perfectly placed, it's just to give an accent. I'm then going to use Sea Breeze to colour in the larger, like, blossom images, I would say, and I'm only doing it very lightly on the bottom part of the buds. So I'm going from the darker on the base of the buds and going up a little bit, so I'm not covering the whole of the bud with the darkest colour, just a very light splattering, shall we say. So once I have used the Sea Breeze, I'm then going to move on to the other bud images. I think these look more like lilacs, so that's why I've coloured them in this colour tone. I'm using the soft lilac, and I'm just adding this over the lilac image. So as you can see, that is blending with the green a little bit, and I don't mind that. It just gives more, you know, detail and a little bit more interest to your picture. So I've removed the washi tape from the stem and added the stem in again with the olive colour. I've then removed the washi tape, and I'm just going to place my stencil into another position so I can add another focal flower and other little bud images as well. So I'm going to use the same colour combinations as I used before on the other flowers. So I've used Mango Smoothie in the centre of this large flower. I'm then going around with the lavender fields and then taking the Mango Smoothie again to blend these colours together. I do find that using the lightest colour to blend them together works really well. I'm then going to take the olive colour again, and I'm adding in the leaves and the stems as before, so I'm just picking out certain areas on the bud images to add the stems. I'm then going to add in the flowers on the bud images. So I'm using Sea Breeze for the larger blossoms and then the soft lavender for the small ones. I'm then going to play around, so I'm going to add in some more leaves and more bud images just to make my scene more complete. And I do love that you can move this stencil around to add in these smaller elements to create a beautiful floral background scene. You could definitely do this on a 12 by 12 and just work larger, just do more flowers, and I love that that's the way that you can work with it, just to make the scene how you want it to be. So once I've finished with the base layer, which already does look very pretty, I'm then going to add on the second layer. So I haven't turned the stencil over, I'm using it on the same side, and I'm then going to add in the detail layer. So for this one, I'm going to be using the deep iris for the second layers on the big flowers. I'm going to be using the lavender fields for the second layer on the lavender buds. And then I'm going to be using turquoise on the second layer of these big blossom images. They could be berries if you wanted them to be. Definitely, if you sketched in some lines as well, you could definitely make those into berries. So for the second layer of the leaf, I have used the moss as well. So I'm just going to be continuing on with the same colours. So as you can see, it's much easier to add in the second layer because you already know where it's going to be. So it is a little bit quicker than doing the base layer. But it's really, really therapeutic, I feel, just to do a little bit of ink blending through a stencil, and you get really great results as well. So again, I'm going to be using the deep iris for the second layer of these large flowers. And then I'm going to take the moss again for the leaves. And it's really quite quick. The card come together really quite quickly. And I do love how it turned out in the end. You could swap around with your colour combos to create different effects with this. And I just love how it works. I'm sorry, I really, really do love this stencil. So I'm just going to finish off with the tiny blossom on the edge, and I'm then going to add this panel onto a base card. You could have done this directly onto your base card if you wanted to. It's just I didn't know what I wanted to do with it at the start, but now I know that I want it flat because I don't want to take any attention away from that background. So because I don't want to take any attention away from the background, I'm going to add a small strip sentiment on some black cardstock. And while I'm doing this, I thought I may as well create another couple of more sentiments. So all I'm doing is I've taken the Sketchy floral stamp set and I've taken a black strip of cardstock. I've already added my anti-static powder onto this. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter than black normally is. And I am just adding a couple of sentiments onto acrylic block. If you add them onto a gridded acrylic block, it really does help get them straight. And then you can just add as many as you wish, and I will stamp these a number of times so I get a number of sentiments rather than just the one. So I can pop these in a little bowl and have them on hand when I do want a black sentiment strip, which is very, very often. I tend to grab a black sentiment strip for nearly every card I make. So I'm just gonna, as you can see, I've stamped that in some embossing ink. I've stamped it twice, so I now have 8 sentiments rather than just 1. Like I would normally do, but I thought, you know, this is saving some time and I'm going to have these on hand for later projects as well. So I've chosen a number of sentiments that did fit on the strip. A couple of them didn't, so I just popped them back onto the stamp set, but I have lots to work with. I've then cut it into a small sentiment strip, just using my trimmer, added some foam pads behind, and there is my card complete. So I really do hope you like the card and the technique that I've shared with you today. I really can't wait to see if you create anything that like this, maybe with the stencil that we've just released. So thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you have a beautiful day. If you are in the mood to watch a couple more videos, there are a couple more here. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that we do upload to the channel, we would love it if you do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again really soon. Goodbye.